That time, Toxic was reaching out to me. He was trying to talk to me like every single day. And I'm like, dude, you took my iPad from me. I had the cops come up there. I know that you had it. You wouldn't give it to me. And then that same night, you went ahead and had my car taken from me. Like, what? Like, he didn't even have to tell me at that time. I just already knew he had something to do with it. And I'm still sitting there saying, like, you didn't even know the place where I got the car from. You didn't know any of that. So I thought. Hey, what's up, y'all? Do y'all like my barber hat? I know I believe I don't know if I wore it in a video before. Anyways, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Yeah, so as y'all know that I've been doing this little series for my birthday. I just wanted to get some closure to this situation because I have a new, I can't wait to share like my new beginnings moving forward with you guys. And I appreciate all the love, you know, all of that. I am going to knock out like all these videos, like I'm just gonna knock them out. So yeah, y'all gonna see me in the same shirt for the rest of this, you know, but I just decided just to go ahead and add a hat, you know, to kind of change it up a little bit. But I know y'all don't care. Y'all just like, Omari, hurry up and tell this damn TRA. I got you. Yup. So, yeah. So at this point now, and before I even go any further, just go, please go check out the other parts. There are 4 other parts to this series. Please go check them out. It's gonna be a total of 6. I can't count. It's gonna be a total of 6. Definitely, like I asked in the last video, please do not try to go find this individual and attack them. I know if y'all are actually my real family out there, y'all probably like, what the fuck? I know, and I didn't say any of this until now, but it's okay. Just I'm good. I promise you I'm good. So, you know, I just want to hurry up and just get this off of my chest so we can just move on. And yeah, so like I was saying before in the earlier part of the series, I face homelessness. I hope, also in a relationship at that, a toxic one at that. I hope this can help somebody out. Learn from the mistakes that I have done. Don't follow down the path I went down. If you're going through the same situation, you know somebody else that's going through the same situation, please encourage them to always work on them. Make sure they got them. Taking care of somebody that's grown, that doesn't want to work, that wants to be lazy and all this kind of stuff. Yes, you know, depression happens. Yes, stress happens. But we all have to put on our big boy pants and big girl pants and move on. We can't just sit down and dwell on it. You're not gonna progress, especially during a time of inflation. I'm sorry, this is bust ass season. I'm sorry to say it. This is not a time where you can have one job unless you make 6 figures. This is not a time that you can go ahead and just be lazy. You always have to hustle. Like me, I'm always working, always around the clock working. I am building a dream right now. First of all, it's amazing to me. You know I didn't even celebrate my first year on YouTube, but I just want to say, like, I am so happy to have all of y'all. Like, you guys don't understand how much of an impact you guys make on my life. Seeing the comments, the views, the DMs on Instagram, like, all of y'all. Appreciate it so much. Okay? All right, so let's dive right into the rest of the story. So, at this point, your boy has no iPad. Your boy has no car. I'm up Ish Creek right now. You know what I mean? And I just felt so stuck. Now, luckily, I had all of my barber equipment with me, so I was able to still, you know, chop. I was chopping heads. You know, I was seeing my clients on an often basis. So I was making some money. But at the time, it wasn't going to be enough. I needed lift along with that so I can go ahead and make this move happen. So where I was staying, I had a limited amount of time to stay, okay? I'm a person that doesn't like to overstay my welcome. I like to communicate as much as possible, even though I am very socially awkward. I hate asking for things because I just fear, I don't know if it's the fear of rejection. It may be the fear of rejection or being told no, But I'm so used to being told no, it doesn't even bother me. I just try to find a different way around it. Like no, just no to me actually motivates me. Like if I hear no the first time, okay, what is it that I need to do? Because I'm going to be motivated to do it. You know, I'm going to figure it out one way or another, or figure out a whole different strategy. Like that's just me. So me knowing that I had a limited amount of time to stay where I was staying, I was like, okay, Omari, you need to get your shit together and you need to figure this out. At that time, Toxic was reaching out to me. He was trying to talk to me like every single day. And I'm like, dude, you took my iPad from me. I had the cops come up there. I know that you had it. You wouldn't give it to me. And then that same night, you went ahead and had my car taken from me. Like, what? Like, he didn't even have to tell me at that time. I just already knew he had something to do with it. And I'm still sitting there saying, like, you didn't even know the place where I got the car from. You didn't know any of that. So I thought. So I thought. So I gave in and I was just like, you know what? Let me talk to him. So I went ahead and I gave in and I talked to him. Now, to make matters worse, on top of this whole situation, my phone was off. Yeah, my phone was off. I couldn't pay the bill at that time. My phone was off. I was trying my best to make as much money as possible to pay it. But what I mean to say, when Verizon want their money, they want their money. Like, they want their money. There's no, like, nah. Like, at this point, I was behind months upon months. I was breaking payment arrangements because I just couldn't afford it. I just couldn't do it. Guys. So, you know, luckily, I got an iPhone and we got Wi-Fi and they work pretty much just fine, right? And pretty much talk to everybody on social media. So, yeah, so I reached out to him, and finally, like, just accepted to talk to him, and we sat on the phone and we talked and we talked and we talked and we talked. And I know y'all probably thinking like, Omar, you did what? Listen, Linda, listen, Linda, Jimmy, Jerry, Marie, whatever. Let me say this: when you have to make something work, you got to make it work. Because at this point, I didn't really have too much of resources at that time or somewhere I could really stay solid. And I really just wanted at least to help him get to a better situation before I left, because I was still leaving anyways. At that time, I wasn't sure if I wanted to go with him at all. Like, it was a big, like, up in the air thing, but we had spent so much time together. We had been through so much. I was like, you know what? Everybody goes through shit in relationships. Let me see if this can work. So I gave in and I went back to the hotel. I had my friend take me and drop me off to the hotel. I did explain to him and everything, like what was going on and all that. Like, he knew what was going on. And immediately when I got back there, we sat down and I wanted to know everything, what you did, how you did it, and why you did it. He broke down to me. He went in my car one day and took pictures of my car's information, like where I got the car from, like, because I've never had that conversation with him, like where I got my car from, how much I owed him. I never had that conversation with him. And he told me that same day he was upset that I called the cops, and he wanted to get back at me. So he wanted to ensure that I wasn't gonna leave him there in Florida, and I wasn't gonna come to Georgia without him. And yeah, he called the place where I got my car from, and he told them where it was. I was like, wow. So I said, when you have my iPad, you were going through my messages, because, you know, continuity, you know, from your iPhone to your iPad, you know, it's continuity. Me thinking, my naive behind, not knowing that he knew the password to the iPad. I thought he didn't know the password to the iPad. He did. He knew the password to my iPad, and he had free game. Took lots of screenshots, went through messages, like was trying to like use things against me and all that. I was like, this is the most childish, toxic thing that I've ever, like, and I'm like, what? Like, you too old for that. Like, who has time for this? But I forgave him, y'all. I forgave him, and I said, you know what? Let's make this work. So at the time, he was working at the hotel. Like I stated in the last video, he's working at the hotel. So he had a room there. He paid for the room at every 2 weeks at a very, very much lower rate. We had the same type of room, luckily, but we were on the lower, on the lowest level, and we were like next to like all the, you know, like they had rooms and quarters for like the employees that worked there that wanted to stay there to stay there. These rooms were a little rough. Ours wasn't too bad, but these rooms were a little rough. Like they were the rooms that preferably they would not rent out or let guests stay at them. So, which goes back to, you know, so we had like the last room to where they were giving out to guests. So we occasionally would have our little fun little girls come there, and they would be making a little coin and over there making noise. Then we had people around us fighting and all that. I was like, oh my gosh. Like it just motivated me every day to like hurry up and get the hell out of that freaking hotel, because I hated staying there. Oh my goodness, I hated it. And I was kind of worried because he was telling me like one day like, oh, like they have like universal keys so they can go in any room. And I was like, yeah, let's not leave our stuff unattended as much as possible. Like let's not leave our stuff unattended when they're there, like during the day. So like we wouldn't really go anywhere unless I was in there or whatever. And at that time, I was pretty steady with cutting hair. So I was able just to stay in the room and just work, and I was making content for you guys and all that as much as I could. So I pretty much stayed in the room most of the time. Baby, what I mean to tell you, when you stay in a tiny room, you get a lot of thinking done. You get a lot of ideas and you get time to reflect. But there were times that I was just so stressed and I was just so depressed, and I had a nervous breakdown. I had a nervous breakdown. I just was out of it. I was out of it literally for a whole day. And I was in a way like going through it tremendously to where I had thoughts of suicide. I did. I'm just gonna be honest. I had thoughts of suicide because I just couldn't believe how my life ended up in shambles the way how it did. And you know, I had to overcome that. I knew that it was negative energy. I knew it was whatever negative vibe and vibration I was on, and I knew that I had to get out of that. And those of you guys that know, I meditate a lot. And I had to push myself to get back to that. I had to push myself to do my breathing exercises. I had to push myself to have those positive mindsets. I had to do a lot of sleep meditation, things of that nature, to finally overcome that, because I did not want those thoughts anymore. It was a pretty dark spot for me, and I really did not want to go through that anymore. I did not want to go through that anymore. Oh my gosh, I did not want to go through it anymore. So some time went by, a couple weeks went by, and at this point, I just was like, oh my gosh, I'm ready to get out of this hotel. And I guess we got what we wanted, because baby, me and Toxic got into an argument. Like, we would get into so many arguments back and forth, and it would be over the dumbest things. We got into an argument. And what I mean to tell you, they got, I guess, tired of us or whatever. So they told us, because we were practically having a yelling match between each other, that we had to go. So I was just like, ugh. So at the time, luckily, Quan took us in with open arms, but I was just like, you know what? This is going backwards at this point. Like, I feel like it's going backwards. So I decided to go ahead and convince him to stay in Sarasota to where he was staying at, because he was able to get some work for Coca-Cola. And I would go there from time to time to do like some work or whatever, but I had went back to Lyft driving. And like I said in the last video, there's a couple parts that I'm leaving out just simply because it's some is just very sensitive information and I just don't want to share it. So just please respect that, you know, please respect that. That's all I ask. And yeah, so we ended up, you know, just kind of hustling, whatever. So I stayed with my friend for a little while and all of that. But baby, what I mean to tell you, when we left the hotel, I almost had to whoop the manager's ass.
Wait a damn minute.
That's what I mean to tell you. This man had tried my existence, because he had wanted to ask where Toxic was, and I wouldn't tell him. And at this point, they wasn't giving him no hours. His paychecks were nothing. So we already knew, like, we had to get out of there. Like, it was signs like they wanted us to leave, but they just wouldn't say it. And, like, here's some clips, y'all. I'm gonna put some clips on the side here. We used to put in a lot of work. He used to work in laundry, and he also did housekeeping. I was not getting paid at all. I did this out of the free will and kindness of my heart, because I wanted to help him out, because he was the only person that was doing laundry. And it was so much for one person to do. And we would go in there and we would be in there late nights doing laundry, and it would take so long. Sometimes I would only get a couple hours of sleep, because then I had to turn around, I had appointments to see, and it was just a lot. Then he would have to get up and go to work, and it was just so much. And they would come and bang on the door every day, and I'm just like, ugh. It was just so much. So I had so much rage and anger and all that in there too. I wanted to get that man some, but I thought about it. I was like, Omari, there's cameras in here and they're gonna lock your behind up. But he had like a trash grabber thing, and he had just like put it across me and stopped me and was like, where the F is he? And I was like, I don't know who you think you're talking to and all this. And I was like, yo, if you don't get out of my face, I'm gonna punch you in your shit. He was like, do it. And I was like, oh my God. So Toxic and Quan come running down the hallway like, yo, what is going on? Now, mind you, he did kind of push me, so I called the cops, because at this point it's assault. Yeah, I pulled the white lady move on him. I did. They gonna tell me, gonna talk about some yeah, I didn't. We reviewed the footage. We didn't see really any of that, and then I ended up getting trespassed. Toxic didn't get trespassed, but I did. But overall, he had liked him and all that kind of other stuff, and it was a whole fiasco that we're not gonna get into. But y'all, what I mean to tell you, it was a whirlwind of events, and I am just so happy that, in a weird way, I'm happy I had the experience, because I feel like I'm not the only person that goes through stuff like this. I know people go through worse. I know they do. and I'm not too proud to talk about my humble beginnings. I'm not, because we're gonna look back at this video a year from now or whatever. I'm probably gonna, because I always go back and watch my content. And I just want to say, like, there's some videos I sit there and I laugh at, and I'm like, wow, I really went through that. Or, you know, I just sit down and giggle about it and all that. But it is what it is. Like, I absolutely just wanted to just get this off of my chest in certain forms, weird forms. And I don't write down anything before I record. I just write down the topic. I think about the topic, and I sit down and I go ahead and I tell it to you guys. So yeah, so we got out of the hotel. He was staying in Sarasota. I was staying in Tampa with Quan, and I was still going out ride sharing every day. And I was doing house calls on and off and stuff like that. I kind of took a slight break from barbering, but not too much. And I was just saving as much money as possible so we could leave. And I'm gonna leave it at that. And we're gonna talk about the last part, and we're gonna wrap this puppy up. So definitely stay tuned to the next part. Peace.